Anxiety is controlling your decisions, and I want to tell you one way to stop that. If you suffer from anxiety, you probably notice that you have the tendency to say no to new experiences, particularly if you feel that they are challenging, that they might touch your fears, they might ignite your anxiety. That was certainly the case for me when I suffered from anxiety. I would try to avoid difficult situations, and most situations that were new were difficult for me. I'm not even talking about crazy things. I'm not talking about skydiving or anything like that. I'm talking about going to a new pizza place, a new coffee shop, going home through a different route. Those are usually the examples that I use, and how that would trigger my anxiety. Things that other people do normally and that now are normal for me before were extremely challenging, and I will try to avoid them. The idea for this video came to me because I just came from holidays. During the time on holidays, I could see how different everything would have been. My whole experience would have been so different if it was 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, I would try to avoid talking to people. I would try to avoid trying new things. My whole feeling inside having so much difference. My whole sense of well-being. I would feel uncomfortable most of the time, and this time was so different. And I could see how much more I'm enjoying it now, that anxiety is no longer present in my life. So I want to tell you one way, one practice, one exercise that you can do to reprogram the way you're reacting to new experiences. So first you can do the sitting down, but once you practice it, you can actually do this exercise during your normal life, and you'll see how easy it is. So first you can just sit down and think about something that you'd say no to. So like I said, doesn't need to be something very crazy. Maybe it's talking to that girl that you want to invite for a date. Maybe it's meeting a stranger, doing a presentation, or going to that new coffee place. Whatever it is that is challenging for you, that you feel like, oh no, I want to stay away from that. So think about just one example. And as you bring it to mind, you'll first feel that the visceral reaction inside of you. And then the no in your mind. And following the no, there'll be a list of excuses. No, it's not the right time. No, I'm not like that. No, I'm not able to do that. Oh no, what if this happens and that happens? Whatever it is, the narrative that comes after that, try to look at it as if you're reading it in a book. Distance yourself from it. You can imagine that you read it in a screen as well, or even that someone else is telling that to you. Realize that narrative, those words, those sentences are not really a part of you. They appear in you, in your awareness, in your mind, but they are not really you. So that's the first thing. Look at it from a distance. That, however, is not enough many times to change a lot of things. It helps a lot because first is the identification that that's not you and detach from that. Then, most importantly, you need to create an alternative narrative. Imagining that you're then talking to that person. Imagine it's your friend that is saying that to you and you want to empower him or her. You want to help that person. What would you say if it was someone else telling you those excuses and you really want to help them? So use that same advice for yourself. Create a positive and empowering narrative that is in line with your values, with the person that you feel inside that you really are. The person that you feel you are, but other people don't know you are like that. Something that is in alignment, a narrative that is in alignment with what you want, your true desires, the way you want to do your life. So create that alternative narrative and say it in your mind. Say it out loud. Write it down and try to really embody it in you. Imagine how would it feel if you lived like that. If every time the same thought came to your mind, you would come with this new narrative, this empowering narrative, and imagine how much better that would feel. And really try to feel in you, not only saying the words, but the feeling that comes inside of you. And then you need to do something that is extremely important, that is consistency. So you need to repeat, repeat, repeat. So in the beginning, you will notice that if you sit down and think just about one thing, you create this narrative and you repeat, is very useful. But what would happen quite naturally is then during the day, during your normal life, you realize more and more thoughts coming. If you see a person that you might know and there's that challenging moment that you want to look that person in the eyes, you don't know if you should say a hello or not. If you struggle with that, more thoughts will come and you'll notice that. Or if you want to go buy that coffee but it's difficult for you to order a coffee, or if it's difficult that presentation, more thoughts will come in your normal life, and you must do exactly the same. But never overwhelm yourself. If you have done enough that day, don't try to overwork. Do whatever you're able to in that particular moment. And then you realize something very important as you do this reprogramming process. You realize that those words many times are not even yours. You might come to the conclusion that those words are from a family member like a mother and father, or from the people you had around, your friends, or even from the culture, from your country, from your religion, even from a song or a movie, from that character that you really liked and in the past you really identified with. But right now you really don't. And you don't want to live with those beliefs, with that narrative inside yourself. So notice that as well. And it will be much easier to let go of it. And at the same time, remember, create that alternative narrative and keep repeating this. If it helps you, sit with your eyes closed at home. Practice first at home and then in your real life. If you combine these two, your results will come much faster. This is the type of exercise that I teach in my program Anxiety No More. If this sounds like the type of thing you'll be interested in, the type of approach, which is very practical and relies in these exercises that you can do on your own during a session with me and also in real life, if you think it would be useful for you, contact me. Send me an email or a private message. We'll talk about the program and see if it's a good match for you. I would really love to help you overcome your anxiety. So if this content is useful for you, please get in touch. See you soon.